Being a Niners fan right now feels like we're standing at one of those turning points that can shape the next few years of this franchise. We just fought our way back into the playoffs. We proved we're still contenders. But at the same time, you can feel it, right? Something is shifting behind the scenes. There are two situations developing that could completely change the direction of this team. One involving a Pro Bowl player who helped carry us this season, and another that nobody saw coming, tied to a massive contract and a move that would either be genius or pure chaos. And what makes this crazy is that both stories connect to the same big question. What kind of team are the 49ers trying to be next season? I'm not going to spoil anything yet. But trust me, if even one of these moves happens, we're looking at a totally different roster heading into next year. Before we break this down, do me a quick favor. If you're a real faithful who believes we're going back to the Super Bowl next year, hit that like button and subscribe. The 49ers Nation Report is still a new channel, and I only want the real ones here. The fans who ride through the highs and the heartbreak. Let's get into this first situation because this one honestly caught me off guard. We're talking about the possibility that the San Francisco 49ers could be ready to trade a Pro Bowl player, and not just any player, but the quarterback who stepped in this season and led this team to a 5-3 record. Mac Jones. Yeah, that Mac Jones. Now, all offseason long, the vibe coming out of Santa Clara was that the Niners didn't want to trade him. The messaging was pretty clear. They valued what he brought. And honestly, it made sense. He came in, learned Kyle Shanahan's system, and proved he could operate this offense efficiently. 5 wins in 8 starts is not something you just shrug off. But now, according to Matt Barrows from The Athletic, the stars could be aligning for a trade. And that phrase right there, that's not random. That means conversations are happening. That means interest is real. And most importantly, it means an offer might come in that's hard to refuse. And when you think about it, it actually adds up. Mac Jones just spent a full season mastering Kyle Shanahan's playbook. That's not easy. We all know how complex this system is. Timing, footwork, reads, motion adjustments. It's a quarterback's PhD program. And now you've got multiple teams around the league running similar offensive concepts. Let's look at the connections. The Arizona Cardinals just hired Mike LaFleur. And where did LaFleur spend 4 seasons? Right here under Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. He knows this offense inside and out. Then you've got the Miami Dolphins. Their offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, spent 6 seasons coaching under Shanahan. That's deep system familiarity. And the Minnesota Vikings? Kevin O'Connell has adapted multiple Shanahan-style concepts into their offense over the years. It's not identical, but it's close enough that a quarterback trained in this system could transition faster than most. So if you're one of those teams, and you're looking at a former first-round pick who now understands this scheme at a high level, why wouldn't you at least make a call? And here's where it gets real for us as fans. If the price is right, do you move him? On one hand, quarterback depth matters. We've learned that the hard way. Injuries happen. Seasons flip upside down in a second. Having someone who can step in and win games is valuable. On the other hand, if a team offers serious draft capital, if John Lynch sees an opportunity to add picks, manage cap flexibility, and strengthen other areas of the roster, that's the kind of calculated move this front office has made before. This isn't about whether Mac Jones is elite. It's about asset management. It's about long-term roster construction. It's about whether the Niners believe his value right now might never be higher. And I'll be honest with you, emotionally, it feels risky because he proved he can win in this system. Letting that walk out the door would not be a small decision. But strategically, I can see why they'd at least listen. And that's the key phrase. They have to be willing to listen. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Because while we're talking about possibly trading away a Pro Bowl quarterback, there's another rumor floating around that would completely reshape the identity of this offense. And it involves pairing one of the biggest contracts at running back in the league with the most versatile weapon we already have. And if that second move actually gained traction, faithful, we'd be looking at one of the boldest offseason strategies we've seen in years. Now let's talk about the second situation, because this one is wild. While we're sitting here wondering if the Niners might move a Pro Bowl quarterback, there's also a report linking San Francisco to a $48 million running back, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, the Green Bay Packers' Josh Jacobs. This idea originally came from Ji Nguyen over at Sportscasting, and she floated the 49ers as a potential landing spot. And at first glance, it sounds crazy, right? Because we already have Christian McCaffrey. When healthy, he's the engine of this offense. He's the mismatch nightmare. He's the chess piece Kyle Shanahan builds everything around. But here's the part that makes this conversation real: the injuries. We love McCaffrey, but we can't ignore the mileage. Last season, he rushed for 1,202 yards. That's still elite production. But he carried the ball 311 times, a career high, and averaged only 3.9 yards per carry. 3.9. For a guy who's about to turn 30 this summer, that workload is heavy. That's not sustainable long-term if we want him fresh for January football. And that's where the Josh Jacobs idea gets interesting. Nguyen pointed out that Kyle Shanahan already tried pairing McCaffrey with a tougher inside runner last season in Brian Robinson Jr. That tells you something. It tells you the coaching staff knows they need balance. They need someone who can hammer between the tackles and absorb punishment. Jacobs fits that mold perfectly. In this system, he wouldn't have to be the pass-catching back. That's McCaffrey's specialty. Jacobs could focus on early downs, short yardage, closing out games. He'd be the high-end insurance policy, or potentially half of one of the best 1-2 punches in the entire league. And imagine that for a second. Defenses trying to prepare for McCaffrey's versatility, and then having to deal with Jacobs' downhill power behind our offensive line. That's nightmare fuel. But here's the tension. Josh Jacobs carries a $48 million contract. That's a massive commitment at a position that the league often devalues. And we don't have unlimited cap space. There are other needs on this roster: depth, defensive pieces, future extensions. So the question becomes, is it smart roster construction to have two elite running backs getting paid like that? Or is it exactly the kind of aggressive move that keeps your Super Bowl window wide open? Because that's really what this is about. If you add Jacobs, you're protecting McCaffrey's health. You're lowering his workload, you're extending his career, and you're making sure the offense never stalls like it did at times last season when the run game lost efficiency. But you're also doubling down on one position group in a league built around quarterback play and depth. And when you zoom out for a second, look at both of these stories together. One rumor says we might move a Pro Bowl quarterback for assets. The other suggests we might invest heavily in an already strong backfield to create a dominant ground attack. That tells me something. It tells me this front office is thinking aggressively. They're not sitting still just because we made the playoffs. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan know nothing is guaranteed year to year. Windows close fast in this league. And honestly, that should fire us up. Because whether they decide to cash in on value at quarterback or double down on building the most dangerous run game in football, both paths show intent. Both paths show they're trying to maximize this championship window. Now, is it risky? Absolutely. Is it bold? No doubt. But the worst thing a contender can do is get comfortable. And if these two reports tell us anything, it's that comfort is not part of the plan in Santa Clara. So here's where I stand as a fan. I'm cautiously excited. If they trade Mac Jones, it better be for real value, something that strengthens the roster long-term. If they even consider Josh Jacobs, it better be part of a clear strategy to protect McCaffrey and keep this offense explosive deep into the postseason. Because together, these two stories reveal something bigger. The 49ers are at a decisive moment, not rebuilding, not panicking, but recalibrating for another serious run. And that's where we live as the faithful, right on the edge of greatness, hoping the next move is the one that pushes us over the top. If you're riding with this team no matter what, drop a comment and tell me, would you trade Mac Jones? Would you bring in Josh Jacobs? I genuinely want to know where you stand. And if you're a real one who believes we're going back to the Super Bowl next year, hit that like button and subscribe to 49ers Nation Report. The channel's still new, and I only want the real faithful here, the ones who believe this team isn't done yet, because something's brewing in San Francisco, and we're watching it unfold together.